everyone. Hello. It's 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, and it's a Friday night, and this is YouTube, which means this must be a live stream of Deux, Wytches. Right? It must be. It must be. I'm going to apologize in advance because I do have a window open, and I was just hearing a car honking, so it's just too warm to shut the window. So I'm going to leave that window open. So I apologize if it's noisy. Hey, everyone. There's Ballerina Boy. Hey, Corey. Hey, Purr Boogaloo, Shadowlander, all the usuals. Lilypad. I don't think we've seen Lilypad in a while. Hey, Lilypad. Oh, and ObsidianFire's in the chat. Hey, hey, Obsidian. Hey, Dorothy. Hey, everyone. Wow, we're the chat room's filling up really, really quick tonight. So, hi, Johnny. So tonight we're going to talk about necromancy. Talking to the spirits. And the reason why we're talking about it tonight is because of Ballerina Boy. Hey, Corey. Asked me my opinion about this book, Communing with the Spirits, The Magical Practice of Necromancy by Martin Coleman.
Yeah.
Not a very thick book. Not very thick.
Oh, yeah. No.
It has 192 pages. So Corey asked me if I had ever read it. I had said no, I hadn't. I saw the title, said, I'll buy it. I'll read it. And then he and I had a chit chat about it. And Obsidian has not read it. But I'm just going to I want to just have a conversation about necromancy in general. And I'll bring up a couple of points that this author talked about, and we can kind of chew on it and see what we feel. Now, the first thing I must point out that this individual that wrote this book does not identify as witch, but they are a magical practitioner. Okay. And in reading the book, I get the feeling that he was a ceremonial magician of some sort. So he's already coming from the scope or the perception of looking at necromancy from a magical perspective, but not the perspective of a witch. And I think this is where I have issues with his opinions about necromancy. The way he structures this book, it's an instruction manual on how to become a successful necromancer. And he says you must go through the book chapter by chapter by chapter, and you can't advance to the next chapter until you've completed the task of the previous chapter. Now, the other thing I want to mention is on the back of it, on the back of this book, it gives you a little like a autobiography or like a biography of the author, you know. Yeah. And it does say he worked with the spirits of the dead for over 30 years. And this book was written in 1998. It was copyrighted in 1998. It says he doesn't teach classes. He doesn't conduct workshops. And he's a retired cost accountant. Right? Isn't that what it's? Retired cost accountant. Okay. So just knowing that, this tells me that this man, being a cost accountant, they're very analytical, and they're very focused on details, right? Because you need to balance. I mean, I'm a banker. I worked in banking for many years, so I understand that kind of analytical mind.
Yeah.
But again, it makes sense why then he was probably some form of ceremonial magician. I missed the beginning. Who are we talking about? We're actually talking about this book. Communing with the Spirits. I don't know. There's a glare on it. I apologize. By Martin Coleman. So the first thing, I guess it would be good for us to define what we believe the definition of necromancy would be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he ever defines it really in here. But what do you think? When you think of the term necromancy, what do you think, Obsidian?
Well, it depends how I look at it. If I strictly look at the meaning of the word, it's interacting with the spirits of the dead, just in any way, or messing with, or tampering with. But there is an interaction, whatever it is. In a broader look, obviously, each time anyone mentioned necromancy, it tends to go to the voodoo practice, which is more, a Hollywood point of view.
Yeah. Well, the first sentence, actually, I apologize on the first sentence says, necromancy, according to a dictionary definition, relates to the pretended art of divination through communication with the dead. And he talks about sometimes it's confused with that whole idea of summoning or like you said, that idea of voodoo practice, the Hollywood idea of necromancy. Yeah. But I even think I use that term of not pretending though, but communing with the dead. When we're talking about necromancy, it's communicating, getting information from the dead, spirits of the dead.
Yeah.
Definitely spirits of the dead, meaning human beings that were once living. So we're talking, from my definition, we're talking about the beloved dead, the ghost of human spirits, because spirits
is a broader view.
Yeah,
doesn't include necessarily just spirit of the dead, but
for necromancy, right? If you're talking with angels, if you're talking with demons, if you're talking with spirit guides, unless they are or were at one time a living human, then that wouldn't be included. A lot of people who do channeling generally aren't speaking with the dead to channel that information, especially ones like Abraham Hicks or Seth, the entity known as Seth that Gene Roberts channeled, or Bashar, who was channeled or is channeled by Daryl. I can't remember his last name. He's got a famous brother. But these are generally higher evolved spirits. So yes, this author, Martin Coleman, does talk about working with spirits of the dead.
So it is necromancy.
It is. So that's what we're talking about. Although, again, I'm going to say he goes about it in a very ceremonial way. And I feel like it's not necessary to communicate with beloved dead or spirits of the dead in a specific, like you have to follow these ways in order to communicate with spirit. With beloved dead. I'm going to use the term beloved dead. The other thing, so you, Obsidian, you have experience with, then if we use this term in this way, you have experience with necromancy, correct?
Yeah.
How did you learn to be a
necromancer?
Yeah, although we're going to get into the conversation as to who are necromancers and who are not. Yeah. But
I'm not. I'm not specialized. Let's say that. So I don't look at myself like I'm a necromancer. No, I'm not. I'm not, because I tend to really to not disturb the dead. I do not tamper with, unless they come to me. which was, yeah, the case. They come to me. They came to me. So I didn't follow any, like, step by step method in order to be able to receive. And sounds stupid. If your beloved dead wants to talk with you, they will, by any means. And then you're gonna follow them, and and off you go. It is where it starts, and it
So
started this way for me.
what kind of what kind of work do you do with the dead? Why? So if a spirit comes to you,
Yeah,
is there a purpose in that? And is there a purpose for you to continue the interaction with the dead?
it depends. It depends. I mean, usually if they come, it's it's because they got something to say, or they think I might have utility with what they are about to transmit to me. So it might be on behalf of someone else, or just for me to help me, grow, think, meditate, shadow working. Yeah.
Oh, so they, in fact, help you,
Yeah, they
right?
help me. Yeah.
Me too. I mean, I have also, I mean, I wouldn't label myself a necromancer either. But I also don't even label myself a medium
Yeah.
either,
Me
which
neither. Yeah.
I believe mediums, because they do spirit communication, for me, would fall under the heading of a necromancer.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, because I don't do that much either. So that's why I'm not labeling myself any kind of medium, because most of the time, the entity I'm communicating with is not of a living person.
Right. So, I mean, if we use the broad term of necromancy, the communicating with the spirit of the dead, mediums would fall under that category as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Um, According to this man,
Hmm.
uh, mediums don't make great necromancers. Um,
What?
yeah. Okay. So in this book, with just the few things we've already touched upon,
Hmm.
um, he defines or suggests that necromancers are more proactive in their work with the dead, where mediums are more receptive. They're too yielding, meaning that they, like we kind of had suggested, that the dead come to them as opposed to a necromancer going to work. Like, one
Yeah.
is receptive and one is projective energies. And that he implies that there is a danger in allowing the spirits, in being in a very yielding or receptive position, because there is a concern that the spirit then would be in control of the situation. And
Hmm.
to that point, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
if you are going to be a trance medium, or if you're going to use a Ouija board, or you're going to do table tippings, or you're
Yeah.
going to interact with spirit in any way,
Yeah.
you need to be fully aware and be in control of the situation. But I also think that because the human being, the living human being, is of the physical. We have a physical body. And this physical body, I was born into this physical body,
Hmm.
and I am interacting with the physical realm, that I have more control over the situation because I am physical. So it sort of leans me to have some more control, unless I relinquish that control. Whereas the spirit, being of a spiritual essence, no physical body, needs to sort of be welcomed in a sense where they can interact with the physical, but they're not physical. In the end, they have already lived their physical lives and have transcended. Now, while I am in astral, if I am choosing to journey to the astral, then I am in their territory and they have more control of the astral. At least that's my perspective and that's my opinion on that. Not saying that spirit can take control of a physical body. They most certainly can, but there needs to be sort of a relinquishing of the control, in some way, which is why I believe, drinking or taking drugs before you do some sort of seance or session. Yes, it opens you up. It definitely leaves you wide open, which is good, but can be tricky if you're not, if you're not practiced at that. So that's where I feel. So I understand this author's perspective, but I don't necessarily believe that mediums don't make good necromancers.
Yeah.
I think you can have good ones and you can have not so good ones. The other point he made, and I am going to find it because I need to read this because I want to see your face. I want to see your face. If I can find the page. I think it's page 11, but I'm not sure. Because he talks all about the Witch of Endor in here too. Oh shit, I should have written it down. Corey, where is that sentence? There is a suggestion here that he does believe that a necromancer should have some magical training. They should understand the art of magic. And that if you don't have an understanding in the art of magic, that's the first thing you should do. It is sort of like a specialized part, a specialized branch of magical arts, and that you definitely want to have some sort of training in magical arts.
It's in the preface. I don't know how you, because Corey saying.
Oh yeah, it's in the introduction. Yeah, I thought it was. He knows what I'm talking about too. He knows what I'm going to read. I just got to find it. Here we go. Oh shit, no, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm swearing. I'm saying shit a lot.
Page 15. Apparently.
Oh, page 15. Oh, so is it? Oh, that was King Saul, and that's where he talks about the woman of Endor. Oh, you're right. It's like that it's in that whole thing. Okay. Yes, page 15. The best known incident of necromancy in the Christian world is the case of the woman of Endor, which is cited in the Holy Bible. This woman is often referred to as the Witch of Endor, but the woman was certainly not a witch, as the entire incident deals with the practice of necromancy, and witches are not necromancers, for the same reason that nurses are not physicians, no matter how helpful a nurse may be.
What? No, I disagree.
So, I mean, yes. And he says that, in the story of the Witch of Endor in the Bible, where she speaks to her familiar spirit, it most certainly is not a familiar spirit that she's speaking with because it's something else. But he definitely discounts the whole idea that witches are necromancers.
It's absolutely stupid in my opinion, because I don't know when did he miss the part that witch interacts with a whole bunch of different spirits.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like the essence of it.
Exactly. And that's what I don't get either. And that's why I'm like, what? I mean, even let's not even so whatever. He's going to change the story, the Witch of Endor to the Woman of Endor, the Necromancer of Endor, whatever. I don't even whatever, you know, you want to do with that story, whatever. But my thought is a witch does magic. Yes, a witch is a magical practitioner, but a magical practitioner who has a relationship with the spiritual realm, which would include all spirits, beloved dead and other spirits, nature spirits, deities, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. No, I can't. And I'm sorry, but even if a nurse isn't a physician, I disagree also on this one. A really good nurse is as good as your typical MD. I mean,
well, I know. I mean, what about a nurse practitioner who can do almost every single thing that a doctor can do?
yeah.
I know, right? And I felt like in that whole sentence, he was cutting down nurses and cutting down witches. I'm like, are you serious? Come on now, guy. What the heck?
It's pretty much stupid.
One of the whole way he goes about, let me describe briefly. It's very detailed in how you work as a necromancer. But and I guess the one of the main points that I guess just rubs me the wrong way, which Corey and I did discuss, Ballerina Boy and I, is the way he approaches the work with the spirits. Like I said, he had suggested that mediums are too receptive, that they're too sort of passive when working with spirit. And the necromancer has to be very aggressive. He basically suggests, which is why I really feel like he comes from a ceremonial magic background, is that the necromancer must control the spirit. The necromancer must control. You're actually training the spirit to work with you. It's how Corey, I think, suggested it's like training a dog. You basically, when the spirit does what you ask or gives you the information you're seeking, you feed it. And when it doesn't, you withhold food.
What the fuck? This is slavery.
Yes.
Who the fuck do you think he is? I mean,
a necromancer. But this isn't just how he does it, but how he is training other people to be a necromancer.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So it just doesn't feel right to me. And perhaps that's because I'm looking at it as a perspective of a witch that I want to work with. I want to have a partnership with my spirits. I don't want to be the boss.
I mean, yeah, in any type of I think path you are walking on, this way of wanting to enslave a spirit, whatever, the one of a living person or any spirit. I mean, it's not nice. In my own opinion, this has nothing to do with the path you've chosen. It's just it tells about your state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have a slave in any kind, in this life or in any other life. I don't enjoy the idea. And whatever, which magician or whatever the label you wanna take for yourself, it's just not okay.
Yeah, I definitely, and like I said, I just want to point out that I do understand that sometimes there is a need for the witch or whoever is working with the medium to take control over a situation if it's gotten out of control. I definitely understand that. So I guess where I would say, where he suggests mediums are too passive and the necromancer has to be aggressive, maybe my thought is that the witch is sort of both. The witch can be passive, can receive, but the witch can also be projective. And then it made me think, yes, of course, because witches ride the hedge. We have our foot in both worlds. We're not fully submersed in the spirit world, but we're also fully not immersed in the physical. We have this understanding of both. I'm sorry. I got a new toy. My son gave me an iWatch, and I'm actually getting messages. Sorry. I got it for Mother's Day. Yay! Anyway, that was like. So I think as witches, we're able to sort of have both roles. And for me, to have a healthy relationship with the spirits that I work with, I like partnerships. And I think they work best when there's a mutual respect on both parties.
Yeah, I think too. There is something that disturbed me in this idea of controlling the spirit and training. Like, who do you think he is? I mean, the whole thing was. Does he actually talk about feeding a spirit? Or?
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you asked.
Because this it's not okay. Also.
Okay.
Okay.
So so his process. So I have a lot of different issues with the process. So first, in the practice and how you're going to go about getting your spirits, you first need to connect with your actual ancestors, your bloodline ancestors, and you he says something like you get these little rice bowls and you set up like a shrine to each of them, because you find out all the information you can about them. You get a picture or something that belongs to them. I'm right on that with him. Yep. And you then he talks about praying to God a lot, but so you say a prayer and then you wait to see who will respond, who of your dead ancestors will respond to you. And you definitely want to make sure you're trying to contact someone who's been dead for a while, that you know that they're dead, because you don't want to try to summon someone who is still living. And I get that. Yep. Nope. I'm right with that. That makes all sense to me. Yeah. So then once you create a communication with your ancestors, you ask that, no, you don't ask them. You request, I guess, them to find you a divinatory spirit. That's what he labels it. So then your dead, your ancestors go out and they find you a divinatory spirit. Then this divinatory spirit becomes the spirit of the bowl, I think he calls it. And he uses the bowl as a way to feed your spirits, those little rice bowls. And the bowl is things that you give your spirit as rewards for doing the work for you. So then the divinatory spirit will then go out and find you working spirits. And the working spirits are the ones that will actually do shit for you.
Yeah.
So you have like all these layers, like you have to go through, right? You never go find working spirits for you. You never go find a divinatory spirit for you. You just find your ancestors, and you build this relationship with your ancestors, and feeding, which in some aspects, I agree. I mean, I think it's important for a witch to have a connection I would call your ancestors, I actually use the term beloved dead for them, your beloved dead. And I think he's utilizing the divinatory spirit as a familiar, honestly.
Yeah.
The relationship, when you read about it in the book, and it sounds like more like a familiar spirit from a witchcraft point of view. And then the working spirits, I don't know. They just sound like other dead people that do your bidding,
Yeah.
which I don't think is necessary. But
No.
the way that you feed and reward, they're not offerings. He says, these are not offerings. When you feed your spirits, you are giving them reward for doing a job well done, and you're withholding food. And when I mean food, I mean food. He
Yeah.
says you
Because
first
oh,
feed them
right.
water, and then you move on to, I think rice was one of the things that he suggested. He says that uh, if they do a really good job for you, you can give them apples or vegetables or alcohol, but you got to be careful, because the other thing he suggests that if they were an alcoholic in life, they're still an alcoholic in death. If they were an abuser in life, they're an abuser in death. If they were a druggie in life, they're a druggie in death. That they still maintain everything. They're just not physical, but everything else is exactly the same.
Well, I can understand this part about some um shit. Sorry, I'm really tired. And I lost my words like always when I'm really tired. Um shit. Earthbound. Earthbound spirits
Yes,
might be this way. Yeah.
exactly.
But the one who crossed and choose to come and go, because in my understanding they can come and go if they want to come deliver you a message or helping you, guiding you. They are not, in my understanding, earthbound. I know that there is plenty of different opinion on that. This
Mhm.
is mine. Okay, so about the plain earthbound spirits, okay, if they were this way, they still are, because they are still earthbound and they did not ascend yet. For those one, okay, but I mean, it's just a little part of it.
And
There is
and
a shitload of spirits who has crossed already and would probably laugh real hard in front of his plain rice bowl and vegetables. I mean, the more you talk about what he says, the more I got this picture in mind of this like retired slave master in a cotton field, mixed with some Santeria and voodoo understanding of practice, magical practices. And you put that in a checker, you shake real hard, and you pour it, and you have the book.
well, honestly,
Sorry.
I really think it's a ceremonial magic idea, because I know that when they summon spirits, they summon them into a magic circle to keep them in that circle, to keep
Yeah,
them
yeah.
in control.
The fact that he mentions God a lot, prayer to God. All of this is painting a specific picture about
Yeah,
the man who wrote the book.
yeah.
That's why I was, naming some of the structure that I think I see in what you explained to me about this book, the
Mm,
slavery parts, the the structure,
yeah.
in a, it's like, I'm sorry, it's like a cotton plantation in the south, which one I'm talking about. And he sounds like the white master
Hmm.
of this, and this is disgusting, in my opinion. This is plain disgusting. I just don't like at all this the mindset of that.
Mhm.
And it sounds like this, even with the God thing and pour in it. No, no.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes me think, I mean, so then I read through it and I'm like, okay, so in my practice, I give offerings to my spirits. I do. I give offerings of food sometimes. I give offerings of alcohol. I give offerings of flowers, of incense, of money. I give offerings to my spirits, but they're offerings. They're not contingent on you do this for me and I'll feed you. If you don't do it for me, I'm not going to give you anything. That's not the relationship I have with my spirits.
And no, me neither. And in my understanding, again, in my experiences, my point of view, and this is just my view.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not pretending that I do have the truth and all bullshit like that. But in my understanding, I mean, they don't give a shit about a bowl of rice or vegetables, or you can offer something, but they don't need to feed like a salt form. This is not a tupa. This is not the same thing. They are spirits. They can provide themselves their own food. They don't need you. They are living on energy if they want to. They are harvesting energy, your energy, for what I know. They can.
Yes. And that's what the point I was going to make is that if we go back to my thought, my opinion, again, I don't have the truth either. But
Yeah,
if I go
no,
back to my
no.
whole concept that I'm physical, I
Mhm.
live in a physical body on the physical earth. I
Yeah,
need physical food to
yeah,
survive. I need food because I'm not evolved enough to eat, drink,
yeah,
and sun,
yeah.
which that's a whole nother topic. But
Yeah, it's
I am, and I don't know anyone personally, a human being who is
me
that
neither.
evolved either.
Me neither.
So we need physical food because we're physical beings. If I carry that to the beloved dead, are spiritual. They
Yeah,
need, if well, they don't need it, but let me just continue that sentence and I'll explain what I mean by that.
I
They
think I.
need etherical or energy. They need energy to survive. Survive. I actually need food to survive. And what I mean by a spirit needing food to survive, I mean for them to maintain a cohesive personality,
Mhm.
to not evolve. If I want them to stay like grandma and they would like to stay like grandma to stay in relation with me, then giving them attention, giving them my energy, giving them focus, talking
Yeah,
about grandma,
yeah,
reliving her life with people, keeping her spirit alive. That's what they need to stay cohesive. The
yeah,
spirits, I feel, the spirits of the dead that are not kept alive have no reason to remain focused on the physical realm.
yeah,
If they don't have things to give, if they don't have things to share, if we don't have things to ask them, then they are free to
to go.
elevate and to go whatever they do next.
Yeah,
But they don't require rice. They don't require vegetable. They don't require that, at least from my opinion, they don't require that. Now, if an individual is giving offerings, if I'm giving offerings, for me, that's to keep my focus and my attention on grandma, to remind me to talk to her, to give her my energy. That offering is really more for me than her. It's
yeah,
just a symbol of the attention that I'm giving
yeah.
her.
And the energy you are putting in it. And
That's right.
this energy
Yes.
might be something that the spirits will touch on. The energy, not the physical thing.
Exactly. The songs we sing, the stories we tell, the rituals we hold for them,
Yeah.
the intention we give them, the flowers we plant, cut, and give. All that requires work. The same kind of work we do in our witchcraft
Yeah.
is what we're giving. And we're feeding them that, even just energy.
Yes, it is all energy because they want
I'm giving you energy.
they won't consume the food.
Right.
It is about energy. I totally agree on
Yes.
this. And so that makes me wonder about this person who wrote this book. That makes me wonder really because I am lost in my thoughts.
I know, right?
Yeah, thinking about who does he summon really? I mean,
He does have a section on summoning, but he doesn't generally do summoning because
oh
he
yeah,
works with his divinatory spirit. And
yeah,
that spirit is the spirit that then calls working spirits for him.
yeah. I'm wondering if he's not the one who has been tricked in the first place.
Oh, he talks about trickster spirits, and he's assured he's not talking to trickster spirits.
Yeah,
Oh
with
my
Coleman.
gosh, he has such a discussion about trickster spirits. And if you think you're talking to an angel, chances are you're not. It's just a trickster, because angels and those don't have any need to interact with people. And if you're channeling information that sounds like teaching material, it's probably really a trickster spirit pretending to be. He has a whole section on different trickster spirits, which I'm not going to say there aren't trickster spirits out there. And spiritual discernment is very important when you're working in the spirit realm, and you shouldn't take everything at face value. I totally agree with all that. But I also,
I do not agree with the whole summoning one spirit to summon for you another one that will work for you. And no, I'm sorry, I stick with my slavery vision. I'm sorry. This is so
I
it's
don't,
disgusting to me. So
and
so
you know,
I wonder who is working with, because in my opinion is not working with beloved dead, or spirit of the dead. He's working with something else, in my opinion, because the way he broached that, I mean, it's not the right energy. So, the energy he's giving out will some way be appealing to some other kind of entity, in my opinion, again. So, he's not a necromancer in my eyes. He's okay. It's not a necromancer. Maybe he's like, what's the name already? The one who claimed to work with demons and all. What's the name? I forgot. I
oh,
forgot.
someone that like summons demons and
Yeah.
stuff, like a. Well, I don't know, because I know some witches who work with demons.
Yeah, which is not the same. What I have in mind is the one who claimed to, in a very ceremonial way, to in evoke for you. Sorry, it's not
That's okay.
exactly. It's the reverse thing in my own language, so it's always a bit difficult for me. Evoking demons into magical circle and tells them to do your bidding and all this shit. Um, in a very ritualistic way. What's the name for that already?
I don't know, because like I said, I know witches who do that. So I don't know if there's a,
like some who claims to be specialized in that, which might be true in some case, but
I'm not sure. I don't know what that word is. Like a demonologist, but that's someone who knows about demons.
yeah, not demonologist, but like, well, anyway, you got the
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
For me, he sounds more like this type of person because he has the right mindset to work with, let's say, lower vibrational entities.
Well, yeah. I mean, even if we think about it, I mean, and this is not saying that any spirit is worse or to work with, but even the beloved dead, because they are still somewhat focused on the physical realm, they're still going to be a lower vibrational energy than like spirit guides. I mean, unless your beloved dead is a spirit guide. But and that's not and for me, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because even my beloved dead are elevated into spirit realm and have a greater perception than I do as a physical human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just feel like,
yeah, but he talks about the spirits like they were just things waiting to be put somewhere or to be sent on a quest.
yes, they do. And
what's this pointer? That's why I think he has the right mindset to work with,
like demons and
entity that will fool him, because he is a fool in my eyes.
another question I wish I could ask him, the things that he wants or he suggests that your working spirits do for you are things that I can get done through witchcraft. I don't need a spirit to go find out what Aunt Joanna is thinking in Massachusetts. I can find that out for myself.
I mean, you just have to take your deck of cards, and here you are.
I know. I mean, I don't know. Corey pointed out that in the book, one of the things he suggests that you have your working spirits do for you is to, find the winning lottery numbers to the lottery. And you can make money that way. So, you just send out your operative spirits. It sounds like an operative. When I think of that, it makes me think of like spies and, CIA operative. I'm a CIA operative, and I'm going to go find out the lottery numbers for you. It's okay, Cricket Song. I got you covered. I'll do it. Are you going to give me apples when I succeed? Because, I want my water, but I also want my apples too, because I did a special job for you. I don't know. I feel like when I was reading this, I'm like, you're training a dog. You're treating the spirits as if they're dogs, and you're training them like dogs. You have your alpha dog, and you have your other dogs, and you will give them a treat if they do good, and you'll withhold if they do bad.
Yeah.
And my spirits, I don't even treat my dog like, oh my God, I get scared. I saw something out of the corner of my eye, and there is nothing there.
Yeah, no, I understand the feeling.
Oh my God.
This one really.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it can be really. Yeah.
There was something there. I need some more of my drink. Thank you.
Or maybe not. Maybe.
I know, right?
Yeah. This is you.
Oh my God, that gave me freaking.
Opening up too much, I think. You should stop to drink and go to bed. This is
so,
Too big opening.
Yeah, this just made me he does talk about thought forms. There's a section in here that he does talk about thought forms. And that section was, I was like, yes, I agree with you. Yes,
Yeah,
you're right. Yes, you're right.
yes, but because in my understanding about what you said about the book, I mean, in my understanding, he is dealing with spirits the way we should be dealing with a thought form or a
Oh, well,
servitor.
no, he talks about them differently. No, he actually talks about thought forms being differently than his spirits. He and in the way he, but I think like you suggested, I think that his relationship with spirits are going to be very different.
Yeah,
And like, if I approach my relation, if I go back to the idea of a dog, if I interact with my dog in the way I interact with my dog, and he interacts the way he does with his dog, with that, I think it'll work. I think he'll get information that he's seeking, but his relationship is going to be very different. It's
yeah,
going, and I don't feel like or think that he is going to have that personal relationship that I would want and that I desire. I
yeah.
don't want to be a boss. I want to be a
No,
partner,
yeah.
you know.
I
Um,
think he's not. It's not. It's not okay.
oh,
The way he's
hello.
dealing, yeah, the way he's dealing with his own necromancy practice.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong again. This is just my
Opinion.
opinion, and all and all. Okay, okay. In my opinion, the way he's dealing with spirits will come bite him in the ass soon
Mm-hmm.
enough. You think he is in control? Yeah, sure. Okay. Continue to boss people around. You will learn better soon enough. This is. Yeah, I don't understand the way he thinks. Even if we look at it in a ceremonial way,
Mm-hmm.
there is plenty way of working with ceremonial magic and spirit of the dead, and to not be disrespectful.
Right.
I
Right.
think he's highly disrespectful.
Disrespectful. I agree. I agree. There was a couple of things I wanted to point out. What was it? Oh, Nikolai. We could create a servitor and program the servitor to go to the spirit world and bring back information for us. Exactly. You can use your familiar spirit. Your familiar spirit does that for you as witch if you have certain information that you want. If you're working with a deity, your matron or patron, depending on your relationship, may give you the information that you're seeking.
Of
I mean, I'm
course.
not saying your beloved dead won't give you information. They certainly can, but I feel like you don't have to be a necromancer to get things done.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, what he is trying to gain, because the whole thing is gaining for him,
Mhm.
apparently.
Yes. Yes.
Obtaining things,
Yes.
wanting things. I mean, this is so far away from my view of practicing any type of magic. Of course, you can use it to obtain and gain. But again, in my understanding of this path, it's also and mostly about evolving yourself, evolving into something greater, more, wiser.
Right.
And this is how I do interact with any kind of spirit I work with.
I agree.
There is a bunch of it, not just
And I
below.
think
There's a bunch of it. But
I think Martin here isn't necessarily looking for wisdom. I think he's looking for power.
Yeah.
And it's through this power, with the help of the beloved dead, he gets power. With the help of spirits, he gains power. He has this army of spirits always doing things for him, keeping busy, bringing him the lottery numbers, bringing him information, locating things for him because he can't find them. Why not do a freaking locator spell? I mean, why do you need a spirit to be doing shit like that for you?
Yes.
I don't know.
I was thinking about that, and I get lost into my own thoughts, but I was about to mention that too. You don't need to summon a spirit who will summon, we will, and on, to locate something or to obtain an information or to bring something into your life. I mean, there is spells for that. And the more you explain to me about what's in this book, the more I think this guy might look at the witches like as a threat almost, because we can do anything without having to enslave any kind of spirits.
Yeah, I
And we
agree.
can do the same. I'm sorry, but no, it's not. It's no. But
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, out of this book, there were some things when he talks about magic, and he talks about there's a whole section on knowing yourself,
yeah, that's
all
good.
that, and the idea describing what a thought form is and how thought forms are all around us and
Yeah.
separate from all that. Yes, I get
It's
it.
okay.
But when you're talking about treating spirits and interacting with spirits and the need to have all these different levels of spirits, I just doesn't sit well with me.
No, with me neither. It doesn't make sense for me. And the whole, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but again, the whole mindset of that is disturbing to me.
Yeah, me
It
too.
is really disturbing to me. It's like he's playing chess, and
Yeah,
moving his little thing
pieces. Yeah.
across the board. I mean, he basically he plays God,
Hmm.
and this won't end right. This not
I'm
gonna.
curious to know what he's doing now because, like I said, this book was written in 1998, so it's been a while. But guess what? It's been an hour.
Already? No, it's
Yes,
50 minutes.
58 minutes.
58?
58.
Oh,
58 minutes.
wait. Okay. I just have
No?
49 minutes on my screen.
Did we start 10 minutes late?
Well, I do have live since 50 minutes, just not an hour yet.
That's weird because I have 50. It says 9:30. My clock just went off. Did we start really late?
I don't know. I don't know. You can't ask me that. I mean, at 5:30 in the morning, it's
I
not.
know.
It's too
Um,
early. In any case.
uh, do we know when our next?
No, we do not, and that's gonna be a thing we're gonna have to discuss because I
Okay.
will probably start my second activity in June. So we
Okay.
might have to call it a season already.
Yes, I'll figure that out. So stay tuned. I'll do some sort of, you know what
Wait,
I will do? You know what
hmm,
I will do? Let me
yeah,
look at the calendar.
yeah.
I will do a live to update everybody what's going on. That's what I can do.
We can again in 2 weeks. I
Oh,
could
Friday
do
the
one more.
29th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do one
Okay.
more.
Okay. So we're definitely going to do a show on Friday, May
All right.
29th.
Okay.
Live stream.
This one
And
was.
by then we should have an idea of what's happening.
I hope so. I should have an idea this weekend. So
we'll know.
hopefully we will know, yeah, how to deal with the war thing in 2 weeks.
Yes. That sounds like a plan, everyone.
Sounds
Yeah.
like
So, I mean, I would definitely say about this book, it's an interesting read, but I would never approach spirits in that way.
no.
So, yeah.
I
Not sure.
would be curious, people, if you do know other magical practitioners who works the way this guy works. Would you write it in the comment section just for me to expand my view, because
Yeah.
this
If any of you,
so
yeah,
strange for
any
me.
of you
So
watching this on replay,
yeah,
if you do practice necromancy in some sort, please, we would love to read how you approach
you
the
work.
spirits.
Yeah.
If you are a member of the group, the Deux Wytches group on Facebook, post your experience there. If you do practice necromancy and how you approach spirits, we'd love to read that as well.
Yes, please. Yes, please, because the way that this man works sounds so strange for me. So
me too.
far away from my own perspective that I'd like to hear about yours. Not you, but you.
Yeah. People, the audience. Yeah.
And maybe you know someone who works kind of like this too. So I'd like to hear about that too, because it sounds very strange to me. So yeah, thank you.
Yes. Thank you all. I'm going to last sip.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Yes. So we will see you all Friday, May 29th. Yeah. And we don't have a topic yet, but we'll come up with something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And everybody stay safe.
Yeah, please.
Love
Don't
you.
forget.
Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye. Blessed be.
Thank you all.